Welcome to the Pull the Chute podcast with Jeff and Jana. This is our weekly venture into the world of small to medium-sized businesses and the entrepreneurial spirit that drives success.
So our goal here is to help you grow and to be the best you can be, both in business and personally. To do that, we identify and we discuss topics that will hopefully help you as you work to build a successful business.
We also interview business owners and executives. It's our hope that you may be able to gain insight on ways to help you be a better leader and provide a better culture for your people.
Our mission here is to help you pull the chute once a week to work on your business instead of always working in your business.
So we hope you find these discussions insightful, helpful, and useful.
And thanks for your support. We hope you enjoy today's podcast.
Well, welcome everyone to the Pull the Chute podcast with Jeff and Jana. We are so excited that you are here. Jana, how are things in Nashville?
They are lovely, lovely. Yeah. We are expecting rain, but of course that didn't happen. You know how weather people are in the South.
Yeah, So for our listeners, we record these on Thursdays and Fridays, and this happened to be an international day for us. So this is if you've been listening, you would have heard that we had one from Tokyo, then we had one from London, England. We now have Ernesto Gomez from Monterrey, Mexico. So Ernesto, welcome. We are excited, but we're covering the world today.
Thank you, Jeff and Jana. I'm very excited to be in your podcast and to be, closer to home, because from Japan to the UK, I mean, it's a longest territory.
That is. Yeah, we've been all over today. So, but how fun, I think when we talked to the gentleman in Tokyo, it was like 11 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. The gentleman in Canada was about 8 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. And of course, you're in Monterey, which is probably what, mountain time?
1 p.m. my time, yes.
Yeah, 1 p.m. Okay, great. Yeah, you're only an hour ahead of us or behind us.
Yeah,
so, anyway, well, welcome to the show. Appreciate you. Ernesto, do us a favor. We like to do this with our guests. If you could just give us, our listeners, a brief background about who you are and how you got to where you're at today, and then we're going to kind of dive right in.
Yes, of course, Jeff. Thank you very much. Well, I kind of describe myself as a person who helps people and organizations that are stalled and stuck retake their growth path. That's, in a nutshell, that's what I do. And to do that, I help them look under the hood, so to speak, in terms of what may be limiting them and what needs to be changed, particularly in the soft wiring of the organization. Now, my career has been very diverse. I started as an entrepreneur myself. I probably undertook about 10 to 15 different businesses up until the time that I was requested to do a consultant job for a large company. They asked me to remain there and spent the last 24 years of my life in the corporate world.
Yep.
So it's kind of interesting because I started off as a small business owner and then evolved into the corporate world with a corporation that had at the time 83,000 employees in 30 countries.
Wow.
I was the CHRO for that. So it's, you can see how I've been all over the place.
Absolutely. So what was it like going from owning your own business to going to corporate world? That had to be a shock, right?
Yes.
Yes, because it was totally unplanned. I was asked to pursue a project to help them develop a project that they were stuck again with a business that was not really delivering the results they wanted, and a 6 months gig turned into a 22-year trajectory, and it was shocking for me because from the micro to the macro, there are things that you have to adjust real quick. But it was amazing for me that lots of principles dealing with human, interactions are pretty much the same. It's just that the scale is different.
Sure.
But the sense and the way to conduct business and to relate to people and to help them change and influence, it's pretty much the same. Of course, the impact is very, very different. And the stress that comes with it also is different. But I would say that, it's pretty much apply the same principles in different settings.
So Ernesto, when you say you help organizations get back on track, what are you helping them do? Is it a people issue? Is it a, is it a R&D issue? I mean, what is it really? Is it organizational? I mean, we know what we think the answer is just because it always goes back to the people, but give us some ideas as to how you do that process. I mean, when you're going into an organization.
For the C-suite, when you get into a slump, first thing you do is check your products, right? Services, whatever you're offering to the market, because for some reason, of course, well, the market is what really makes you grow. Customers is what makes you grow. So you start there, and most people say, what's wrong with my products? What's wrong with, what am I not exceeding customer expectations? What am I not getting traction with customers? That's the obvious part. Everybody looks at that. But then pretty soon you have to go into a deeper level and say, what kind of capabilities do I have to deliver on that promise? Which capabilities I have in place in the organization to make sure that the products and services that I offer are really working. And that's where most companies focus, So I may need to change this practice. I need to a different innovation method, lean management, whatever. But pretty soon you're going to find out, especially in a changing environment, that the capabilities that you thought were delivering the products your customers wanted need to also be changed. And in order to do that, you have to go one level deeper, and it's human interactions, the soft wiring of a company. So what seems to be a product or capability problem pretty soon shows up to be interaction problem within the company. Wow. Where you are not really, allowing your teams to work on the things that needed to be worked on, and also to unlock their potential. So I figured out real quick that while you can stay in capabilities and products for a long time and maybe advance, really, you have to, sooner or later, you have to go deeper into, that's why I say you have to look under the hood and find out, what's stopping you inside the company. And by the way, I'm not just saying this out of an epiphany. There is a study by Bain, actually, that shows that 4 out of the 5 reasons why companies stop growing had to do with inside problems that are not resolved, not on market conditions. So it's really a self-inflicted wound. And that really has been fascinating me for a long time. What needs to happen at the human interaction level so that everything gets into sync and you are able to deliver on your promise and eventually grow.
And so what does that look like when you go in there, right? So you identify that that's the problem. What's the solution? How do you go about doing that? And what's the normal time frame? I'm curious on that because I have my own thoughts, but I'm curious what it is.
At the end, what I propose, I wrote a book called Regrowth, where I present a framework for that. And it boils down to a system that is composed by 3 dimensions, in my opinion. One is the talent density, which means, do I have the right talent in the right positions, especially in the positions that are mission critical? You need to have top talent, but you don't have to have the best talent available in every position of your company. You have to have, good enough talent in table stakes position, but where it makes a difference, you really need to have the best people that you can afford and develop those people, the best way you can. Second, it's culture. And the culture, the organizational culture, I understand it being driven by 3 pillars. What is the creed of the organization? What the organization stands for in terms of principles, values, purpose, whatever. Then what kind of context do you have in place that affects, limits, or favors, the fulfillment of those principles? And there you have processes, and you have policies and rituals, and everything, incentives, all the things that you used to scaffold the way the company operates. And finally, you have the leadership model, which turns those, ideas that you declare in the creed into performance or into action. And finally, the last dimension is the mindset, the collective mindset of the organization. So talent density, culture, and collective mindset, in my opinion, are the components where you have to create enough energy so that the company retakes its path to growth. Now, answering your questions, how long does it take? Not every company has to go all the way and get into a 100% transformation. Sometimes you must, especially if you're in industries that are changing quite a bit rapidly, as we all have seen lately. But eventually, you need to review and audit this system and make it work accordingly. What I say in the book is that if you find that you can perform by continuous improvement and get a lot of good results there, maybe your transformation doesn't need to be that radical. But if you have to get into uncharted territory and you notice that all of a sudden, we're going to get better at this AI thing that we don't know how to do, or we have to get into the digital space and you don't have the knowledge to get there, more than likely you're going to have to go deeper into the transformation, because that mindset has to change.
Yeah.
So it depends on where you want to go, actually. And that's a decision. I call it the knowledge advantage framework. What kind of knowledge you need to win in the market. And if that knowledge is far away from your core, your transformation is going to be more radical. And that would take maybe 3 to 5 years.
Okay, 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go all the way.
Sure.
But I was part of a transformation, and the first year you start getting results. First year, couple of years, but pretty soon you hit a plateau, and you have to really renew the impetus, and that's what I found, that the commitment, especially of the C-suite, to create this energy, it's more important than the tools and the systems and whatever you have in place to make it happen.
Yeah, I agree. It has to be long term as well. It's not a quick fix. It's like we talk about, it's muscle memory. You have to keep doing it and keep re-upping it and keep reanalyzing it and making it better and tweaking. It's just like anything. Just like building anything,
And I don't blame, the C-suite, especially the CEOs, because they want a plug and play, solution, right?
Yeah.
They hire consultants, as they say, I want this to work no matter what, because I'm in a hurry. I have to deliver results next quarter. But you really have to take a long-term view if you really are serious about a transformation.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, you can do fine for a while, but pretty soon you're going to be back in the same situation.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, I agree.
So when you got the book Regrowth, how many companies do you think, I mean, is there a ton of companies that need these transformations, or are, excuse me, or are they here and there? What do you think of the numbers in there?
Let me say, I've been thinking a lot about this, because at the very end, we are in the business of change. We need to change organizations, change people, so that you can achieve more or better results. And that change has to do with how you are able to unlock the potential of the teams and the people that are responsible for growth. In the book, I share an anecdote. For many years, I talked to CEOs of different organizations and companies, large organizations, thousands of people and billions of dollars in revenue. And I asked the CEOs of the companies, you picked your C-suite team. Those who work with you are people that you trust. You know them very well. Probably you handpicked them. Out of the potential that you think they have, what percentage do you think they are redeeming today? In other words, you have an idea of what they're capable of doing. How far are they from that peak performance? And I was surprised that the answer that I got the most was they are about 50% of their potential, meaning there is a long way to go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, the next question was, how come? What is stopping your team from achieving their full potential? And oftentimes I haven't got really many educated answers. They would say, well, bureaucracy in the company is a problem. Sometimes we have, we're slow to make decisions. We still have silos and things like that. And you kind of wonder, yeah, but that's why you are the CEO, right? I mean, to solve those problems so that people can perform better. And what I'm trying to point out is that there is a lot of potential stored in teams and in people that is waiting to be tapped.
Mhm.
Now, how do you go about that? I found that there are, I'm going to divide it in I'm going to oversimplify something that is very complicated, but I found that there are two approaches. There is a push approach to unlock potential, and there is a pull approach to unlock potential.
Mhm.
The push approach is the one that we have seen, in movies, in the army and many, sports teams. We have a coach that just puts a lot of pressure into the team, raises the bar, never satisfied, creates tension, and you can get results there. I mean, you can see how people are going to be pushed into performing better. The thing is that if you remove that pressure point, the coach or whatever, it goes back to the way it used to be because it needs to be pushed.
Mhm.
The pull approach has to do more with how you can connect with the qualities that you people have, help them develop those qualities, essential qualities, so that they kind of learn how to untap their potential on their own. And what I've seen is that when the business environment was stable enough that your capabilities were good for a long time, push seemed to work fine because it was very predictable. But now that you have to have change, ingenuity, creativity, innovation, the push approach doesn't seem to create that spark because that tension is not really conducive to a nurturing environment. So what I'm seeing now is that leaders have to kind of move within these two extremes, but the baseline is not push, push anymore. The
Mhm.
baseline is pull, and if you need to push every now and then just because conditions are, you're in a crisis or there is a problem, that's fine. But you have to really be comfortable connecting with the people. How else can you unlock potential if it's not by getting into the reservoir that is hidden within a person?
Yeah.
And if in doing that, you have to really connect.
Right.
So that's what I found actually is that mental model of in leaders is not an easy one because moving into being a helper or a steward more than uh, the one who calls the shots requires a different set of skills.
Mhm.
Right. I have a question then. So to me, push and pull are similar. I always look at it as push, pull, or follow. Right. So, if I have to push someone along or pull someone along, I'm still fighting against them a little bit. But if I can get them to follow me, now I've really made a difference. And that's, I always tell people, look, there's that saying that the fish stinks from the head, right?
Yeah.
If the leader isn't doing what they need to do, if people aren't following them as a leader, then they're not doing it right. Right. And if they gotta push them into it, and sometimes I get it, you need to push or pull.
Yeah.
But in most cases, what you're trying to do is look behind you and see who's following you. Right. That's true leadership for me anyway. So again, I was just, when you were talking about pushing and pulling, what do you think about that? I mean, to me, like pulling is really no different than pushing, but I'm not challenging you. I'm just asking.
No, yeah, thank you for the question. I think it's a very valid one. What I've found is that the know-it-all leader that we were exposed in the past is not really the right model anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what happens is that the idea that somebody's going to follow you is because you see the path ahead, right? You are the visionary. You are the one who calls the shots. And in some cases, your position in the company allows you to see that because high up in the hierarchy, you have ways to see things that people, within the company cannot see. However, it carries a problem, in my opinion, because you have to be humble enough and you have to have your ego in control to make sure that you find the best answer, even if it's not yours.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, you are not in your job to provide the solutions. You are doing your job when you help the team, whether with you or you as a helper, to find the right solution and make the right decisions.
Absolutely.
And that's what, for many years, I thought that I was being paid because I had more experience. I was the one who knew more in the room. I'm the person who it's better prepared or educated or whatever.
You were the expert.
Yeah, I'm the
Yeah.
expert, right? That's why they pay me that much.
Yeah.
However, you pretty soon find out that there's a lot of ingenuity and good resources in teams if you're willing, to let that surface.
Uh-huh.
And then at the end, you have to make the decision. Yes, because you are the leader, you are the boss.
Right.
But
Right.
but there is a mental model there different, where that's why I think that leader, in the sense that you were describing it, has to be complemented with leader steward, not only leader,
Yes.
but leader
Yes.
steward.
I agree.
Yeah, we agree with that. Absolutely. And also, you have to elicit and sort of set up an environment of trust first. Because if you don't have trust, you're never going to get your coworkers and employees to, to uncover their feelings or their ideas, because again, they don't trust the situation, that it won't be taken advantage of, or that, something will occur. So I think that trust factor is also very important.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yes, totally. But again, that cuts against the grain, of the way, at least in my generation, we used to think about leaders, because you as a leader, you are not supposed to get close to your people, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean,
That's right. We
there is
talk
a
about that
boundary
all the
and
time.
trust. Yeah. But how can you develop trust if you're not willing to get near, your people? So again, there is another thing that we have to work on. And especially these days where we don't have all the answers, knowledge is becoming a commodity, really,
Mhm.
because of AI. So if
Sure.
knowledge, at least functional knowledge, is not really what makes a difference, what is going to make the difference? Well, it's going to be human-centric activities like judgment, wisdom, ingenuity,
Right.
vision. That's going to make a difference, because your competitors are going to have the same knowledge that you have, just because they have the same access to the same tools
Yeah.
that
Yes.
you. But what is going to make the difference is how you soft wire the organization to use that knowledge and to advance.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Ernesto, we have to kind of wrap things up here, but for our listeners, Ernesto's book is Regrowth: How Organizations Can Overcome Stalling by Unlocking Their People's Potential. I'm sure it's on Amazon, Ernesto. Where else can they find it? And how can they get a hold of you if they need to?
Yeah, it's in Amazon, and it's also in the Barnes and Noble,
Okay.
in the ebook section. And they can find me on LinkedIn, Ernesto Gomez. Have a complicated second last name. Here in Latin America, we use two last names. So it's Gomez Arzapalo, Arzapalo.
Okay.
Through LinkedIn, or my website is aspenmindset1.com.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ernesto.
Great.
Really appreciate you being on the show. Love your whole idea. Companies stall all the time. And so if they can look to their people to help unlock that, I mean, what a great thing they can do. So thank you so much for being on the show. We appreciate it.
No, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Sure.
Yes.
And to all our listeners out there, Jan and I always love the support. We've been getting a few cool emails lately, so keep those coming. We love when you like the shows and give us some feedback on those. So, keep those coming as always. If you ever need help with anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Jana at janalandry.com or Jeff at pullthechute.net. We always love to spend some time and just kind of let you kind of pick our brains about some stuff, and who knows where it could lead. So we're here if you need us. Check us out anytime. Until the next time, folks, stay safe and be healthy.